Hi there.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Flying Frog video. Next generation simulations have brought us this Embraer EMB-110 Bandeirante that's made in Brazil. Now the Bandeirante comes in three variations: the P, the P1 and a freighter. The P has 4 liveries, the P1 has 6 and the freighter has 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to get in, have a look around, have a fly, and I'll give you my thoughts as per usual at the end. So let's hop on in and have a look around. Now, as you can see, she looks pretty good. Very tidy, very clean on the outside, showing no signs of weathering at all. Except for the glass. Look at the glass up there. You know, all the scratch pattern seems to be the same, and it's been a little bit heavy-handed, I think. Never mind. Now let's hop on down and have a look at the underneath. Nicely done on the tyre. Looks matte and is modelled very nicely. Landing strut looks modelled nicely. Not much to see up there. So no detailing at all up there, but we do have some hydraulic lines. And looks like a disc brake cover. And you can just see the disc brake through there, which is very good. So what we'll do is we'll hop on around, hop inside now, and have a look. So as per usual though, I will be showing you the liveries as I taxi on out to the other end of the runway before takeoff. So let's hop inside and have a look at the cabin. Okay, nice and quiet. Now the cabin is pretty standard fare for a airliner, or at least a small intercity airliner, which is good. I think it carries approximately 28 passengers off the top of my head, and also it comes, when you load in, it comes fully loaded. Now this is available on PC and Xbox through the Microsoft Marketplace. So I like the fact that you've got the emergency procedures behind the seats and cards behind the seats. So what we'll do is we'll come on up into the cockpit and have a look. So you can see the shoulders there of the pilot, so we'll just peek on over the top of the pilots here. And we get the usual fare, which looks pretty good. That's your de-icing up there, your lights, generators and everything else, panels there, and the rest of the guff. So what we'll do is we'll kick these guys out and we'll hop on into the pilot seat. Here we are. Now we do get a tablet with this one, so I'll start off there. So we just click on here and we have the tablet. So we have our usual things. We got we can remove the wheel chocks or put them on. Cones, engine covers, pitot covers, tail rod. Now before I close the doors, what I'll do is I'll close that and hop on out so we can see it. There we go, nicely animated. And then we'll come back in to do the cargo door. I think it's done at a good speed. And there we go, there's our cargo door closing down. and locking up, which is very good. Very nice. Not too fast, not too slow, just right. So there we go. So we've got the iPad type tablet, which is a nice addition. Now we do have here a window. Again, I'll leave that one open for now. Now the circuit breakers aren't clickable, but most of the buttons in this cockpit are. So we have the Garmin 530 and the usual guff of radios, the gauges. Most of them are clean. Some of the writing though, particularly down here on the side, is a little bit out of focus. Same with this one here in front of the pilot. It's just a smidgen out of focus when you compare it to how the dials look. But again, everything looks spot on, like it's just come straight out of the factory, brand spanking new. But the windows don't say that. It's been scratched up. Now, if I was the boss, I'd be saying, step into my office. Anyway, let's go through here. Now, the plastics look a little bit Lego-y. The red, oh, go away. Why is it disconnecting and connecting? I do not know. It's happening a lot of late. So, I don't know what's going on. The whole sim seems to be falling apart. So, anyway, where was I? Right. The plastics on these handles are a little bit Lego-y. A little bit too new. Oh, yeah. You know, they just don't look quite right. However, they do match the outside of the plane, which looks pristine. So, take from that what you will. The yoke stands, and the yoke's exactly the same. Really, really glossy plastic. Looks brand spanking new. Now the armrests come up, as you can see. There. Right, we can put our armrest down. So there we go. Right, now, what I'll do is I'll get this one started. And then once she's started, I'll come back in. I'll show you the night view. The cabin lighting in this one is actually very good. And then we'll taxi on out. While I'm taxiing, I'll show you the liveries. And then when I get to the end of the runway, we'll go for a quick flight, land, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. So what I like to do is I'd just like to slew on over to the middle so we can get things going. Now let's just make sure our mixtures are up. Right, now then. Now what I like to do, rather than sticking the battery on first, because I haven't got external power hooked up at this point in time. I could do it, but anyway. Now while I think of it too, let's get this all on first. There is a checklist. So if we come up here, we come to our checklist, bring it on down, and you've got, looks like a fairly comprehensive checklist for those of you who want to go by the book. Me, I'm not going to go by the book because otherwise this video would just take way too damn long. Rightio, so then I'll come over, hook on the battery. Alright, turn on the ignition. And let's go and fire up the first motor. Sorry about that. I was hoping to be here in front. And she fires up. You'll hear it when she's ready to, when she's fired up. The sound will change. I like the sound. Really nice. Now these motors are basically two PC6 motors. There you go. Okay, that's the first engine fired up. Okay, now we can just change, as that one's fired up, we can just bring that to there. Right, ignition on. And we'll we'll turn the inlet pull separators on and fire up the second motor. As I said, you'll know once she's fired up because you get that tone will change in the motor. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll come back in with the night lighting. Okay, here's our night lighting. Not too bad, you can definitely fly this one at night. Everything looks fairly clear. And we come on around and have a look at the cabin. Now doesn't that look quite special? They've done a really good job with that one. I really do like it. So, and as for the rest of the textures inside, everything looks brand new, except, like I said, except for those windows. So there's no weathering at all. It's all well done. In my honest opinion, this is probably very close to being a study level aircraft for Xbox as we can get at this point in time, as of July 2022. So we can reverse out of this, but the Velocity 1 tends to disconnect its reverses, even though on the detent, even though it's so I don't know why. I think that's something that Turtle Beach need to fix, because occasionally they just seem to disconnect. So anyway, I'll taxi on up to the end of the runway, and then while I'm doing that, I'll show you some liveries. Please too take note of the sound. They seem to have used a sound loop quite often through this, and once you notice it, it doesn't leave you and it doesn't sound right. Even though the sounds are okay, it's just you can hear that they're looping very easily, and it happens through various rev ranges and various speeds. So which kind of tends to be, I think, to be honest with you, some shortcuts have been made. Here we are at the end of the runway. Now I am having some issues with my Turtle Beach Velocity 1. I do believe that it's about time that Turtle Beach got a new firmware update, because there are issues, I believe, that are going on with this Turtle Beach Velocity 1, due to the fact that it does the odd screenshots when you don't want them to, and obviously too with the detent not always working for your reverses. You've got to disconnect and reconnect, and it's just a pain in the you know what. Anyway, this window's been open all the time, and I'll close it. No sound difference. Again, they missed the mark on that one. But anyway, let's get her into the air. First stage flaps, no sound from the flaps. But let's get going. Handbrake off. Little bit of kick to the left. Come, gear up. Now we do get the sound of the gear coming up. Flaps up. Now let's trim this bird. Okay, now we are flying out of beautiful Queenstown in New Zealand, and what I'll do is I'll go along this valley for a little bit. I won't worry about doing stall test maneuverability. It is an airliner, a small airliner at that, but yeah, she does okay though. And she will scoot along at around about 210 knots flat out, and she's got a ceiling of about 20,000 feet. So there we go. Let's have a look on the outside. Of the gear. Okay, as we're heading back, there's Queenstown at 12 o'clock. I just want to go over a few things. There's it's a bit droney. As I said, they tend to be using a little bit of short sound loops in this one, and I haven't noticed it in any other aircraft. But what we do have here is a fire test, so we can. We've got that, which is quite good. I like that type of modelling. Adds a little bit of realism into it. I don't have failures on this one, not during reviews or anything like that. So, and one thing that this one is, it's quite hard to get her to slow down. She's quite a speedy little thing, particularly when we're coming into land, but But yeah, so we'll see how we go this time. It's not that easy at the moment to see the runway, at least not for my poor old eyes, so I'll do the best I can. And once I've landed, I'll give you my final thoughts on the whole aircraft. I think I do need to reduce my height though. Now I'm pulling back the throttle and you can hear there's no rev change, which is a bit of a concern. First stage flaps. Just picking up the nose. Let's keep the nose down a little bit. And there's our runway. Let's drop the revs back a bit more. Drop back the prop pitch. There we go, just a little bit. We'll drop the gear. Get some more drag happening. Second stage flaps. Almost no throttle at all. Third stage flaps. Okay, now she seems to be settling in quite okay. Taking a fair bit, but I think I'm getting to learn how to fly this one. Let's just keep the nose up. A little offline. Kick back the throttle. She does tend to float a little bit. Here we go, we're down. Now ordinarily I'd be using the reversers. Just click them in, but they're not working today. As I said to you before, the velocity one seems to lose it, and you've got to disconnect and reconnect, and yeah, that starts to become a pitter. So, but there we have it. So I'll get back to my parking spot. The Embraer EMB-110 Bandeirante from NextGen Simulations. $52.45 on the marketplace, just over $35 US and just over €35 as of July 2022. Has NextGen Simulations done enough for $52? There are good points and there are bad points, and I suppose there are good points and bad points about every aircraft. I don't think it is worth the $52. The reasons being is that the sound packages is not quite right. I think that the sound loops that they use are just too short, and the obvious rhythm of those continuous playing over sound loops is easy picked up, and once you pick up on it, it is hard to not hear. The confusion of the aircraft, of the having a pristine aircraft over a weathered aircraft. They go and weather the glass, but the rest of the skin is all pristine and unweathered. The inside of the cockpit has no wear and tear on it. The inside of the cabin, no wear and tear on it. It's all like it's brand new. So it's a little bit confused. The scratch patterns on the windows are all the same scratch pattern through every window. That to me is lazy and is not somebody who is thinking of what we want as an aircraft. Again, these panel lines look like they're just decals that's placed on, and I understand that they're trying to keep the frame rate of the plane down, but they need to up the resolution of these panel lines. I want to see panel lines that aren't jagged like that. I actually thought initially when I first saw them they were scratches, but they're not scratches. They're just jagged or bad resolution panel lines. And these are the reasons I think why I don't think it's worth the $52. Its flight characteristics are excellent. The modelling is excellent. I like the glossy skin. If you're going to do a pristine aircraft, give me a pristine aircraft like it's come off the showroom floor, or if you're going to do a weathered aircraft, give me a weathered aircraft. Don't do something that's half baked, because that way I'm thinking that the whole aircraft is half baked. However, I do feel that this is a semi-study level aircraft. Most of the buttons are clickable within the cockpit, and it has a reasonably good checklist to go by. So if you really wanted to do your role play, you definitely can. Do I regret buying this one? No, I don't. I don't regret it. Not at all. I do enjoy flying it. Will I fly it again? Most definitely I will, and have done. I've done a few flights in this one. I've had this one for about a week now. However, having said that, I only got it on a recommendation from a friend who said, oh, you might like this one, so give it a go. And yes, I do like it. It flies very well. As I said, apart from the sound package and that, everything else seems to be good. So, on that note, please like, comment, subscribe. Please join my Discord channel. Start up a conversation on this aircraft or any aircraft. Request reviews, whatever you would like. And as per usual, everybody please stay safe.